Hey Internet, I'm back. So tonight's movie was 13 Sins. And right off the bat, I have to say, I love this genre of movie. Um, for the longest time, Toys to Life movies have always been one of my favorite subgenres of horror. Things like The Dolls and Annabelle and Child's Play, those are always really cool to me. I like the concept, it was always fun, I always dug it. But lately, within the last decade or so, I've seen more and more movies like this one here, where basically someone has to take on a number of challenges, and each one escalates as far as the severity of it, in order to win money or stay alive or both. I just think that's a really cool premise. It always makes for a fun movie. Ones like Nerve or Guns Akimbo or Belko Experiment. They're always really cool. And this one's no exception. It stars a guy who, he's about to get married, he's about to have a baby, he's taking care of his mentally handicapped brother, he just got fired at the start of the film, and then he finds out his dad's going to get kicked out of the nursing home and going to have to stay with him too. Everything's kind of compounding on the guy, and his life is just absolutely shitting itself. And suddenly he gets a call, and it's like, hey, squish that fly. And then he does, and then they give him $1,000. They're like, all right, eat that fly. And then he does, and he gets $4,000. And it goes on and on from there. And it's really cool because I like the concept of, pushing someone past their morals because they were already near that breaking point. I don't know, it's just a very realistic and relatable kind of thing. Especially after the past couple of years in the world, I think people are familiar with not just depression or reaching your breaking point, but just the desperation that a lot of people would feel. So I like that this movie kind of plays with that and how you could exploit that, and I don't know, I just think it's really interesting. I'm sure there's social commentary in there that smarter people than me could make, but for me, I just find it to be a really interesting and engaging plotline. I think it's a lot of fun to watch. And I really enjoy any time I see that story, but specifically since I'm supposed to be reviewing this movie, I think all the actors did a great job. Ron Perlman's in it. I'm getting a surprising amount of bigger name actors in the movies this year. But yeah, Ron Perlman's in there, and he plays a cop who's kind of hot on the trail of the kid that's going through all the challenges. I say kid, he's not a kid at all. He's probably my age, I think, in the movie, the character is anyway. But yeah, so as he's going through all these things, and they're getting worse and worse to where, people are getting hurt or injured or murdered. I don't know why I said hurt and injured. Those are synonyms. But this cop's kind of following him and just trying to catch him, and he's reaching out to this other guy who appears to be investigating the history of this challenge game thing that's going on. And things are building from multiple aspects. You're watching this guy complete challenges, and they get harder and harder and more twisted, and he gets more wrapped into it, and things kind of compound that force him to stay in it, basically. Meanwhile, the cop is getting closer and closer to catching him and finding out more and more about the game itself, and there's a lot going on, and it builds very well. There's a lot of in-universe tension, and they set it up really well here that you get engaged because you can feel the stakes rising for the character, and you can kind of see him going past his breaking point and just kind of losing control of himself. It's one of those in for a penny, in for a pound kind of things where he's too far down the rabbit hole to turn around, and he has to just go forward, even if he doesn't like it anymore. So it's a really fun watch. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I did enjoy the ending. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say any more without ruining anything, but wow, apparently I'm not going to say anything more. But I did really enjoy this movie. It was definitely a fun watch. Definitely one I would watch again. I know what's going to happen, but it would still be fun just to watch again because, like I said, it does have good tension. There's a lot of good moments in here. The acting is all really well done. Everyone's very convincing in their role. The main character, I feel does the thing that I always want in horror movies where he reacts kind of realistically to this. He's not immediately on board with some of this stuff. And you could tell he kind of waffles back and forth, and eventually his desperation wins in a lot of points because he doesn't see a way forward with his life otherwise, which again is just good acting and good writing. But yeah, I don't know. They really sell it here. They do a really good job with everything in the movie. I think it was great. Definitely a fun watch. Definitely recommend it. And I think that's all I have to say. So, yeah, go check the movie out, and I'll see you tomorrow.